Hello and welcome to the Redbeard Reviews RC Hangar. Today we're going to be going over the 1.5 meter Cessna from E-flite for our first video. Wrestling out of the box, looks nice. Nice carbon wing spar. Everything's in here pretty well, secured really well. This is the whole model. Everything's zip tied in down here, landing gear zip tied in, motor. The size of these wings are huge. It's bigger than the Vampire and longer than the Corsair fuselage. Nice nav lights. The fuselage looks great. This is my first time seeing it in person. Nice hinges here on the rudder. The rudder light comes pre-wired here on the vertical stabilizer. Cowl looks nice. Screws on with these holes into here. This is the entire package for the spinner and hardware. Horizontal stabilizers get screwed on, that's nice. They go in here, just like this. And those are the basics to this build, so I don't want to waste any more of your time. There's a lot of videos on this already. Let's get out and rip this beast. This plane has an amazing presence on the field. I hope you stick around until after the maiden for some beautiful drone footage. Get out of the runway, you ape. Alright, she feels pretty solid in the air. Time to find out the answers to the important questions. Like, how does she invert? Touch and go. Another important question, how well does it slow down? Where is he? Let's wrap up this maiden with one last rip. Landing. Welcome back to the Red Beer Reviews RC Hangar. I'm going to be wrapping up the video and going over the Red Beer Reviews RC rating system. So number one on the rating list is easy to build. How much of your precious time are you going to have to spend getting this thing ready to fly? The answer is about an hour. you do have to glue on the rudder, the light lens for the rudder. You have to screw on the horizontal stabilizers. You have to screw on the tail wheel. You have to screw on the main landing gear. You have to mount the motor. Then you have to screw on the cowl, the backing plate for the spinner, then the prop and the spinner itself. So the build takes about an hour. It's not a snap together like the Focke-Wulf. Since it does take an hour, you give it 7.5 beards. Number 2 on the list is the flight envelope, or the aerial versatility of the plane. And we judge that in 3 categories here. How well does it slow down? How aerobatic is the plane? And how scale or how real does it look when it goes by? So this plane slows down great. I'm sure you saw in the video, it lands pretty slow. So that lends to longevity of the model, leads to survivability. Aerobatics, it's not a yak or an extra, but it's very capable of doing rolls, loops, rolling circles, anything basically you can throw at it. Hammerheads all day, inverts, as you know. So I'm gonna say the flight envelope also is gonna involve the battery versatility, because if you want to fly this on 4S, 7,000 milliamp, and get 15-minute flight times, that would be probably accessible. But on 6S, 5,000 milliamp packs, that's what I fly it on. It does 8 minutes at the most. So that adds to the versatility of the flight envelope, if you ask me. So we're gonna go ahead and give it 9.5. Number 3 is durability. How well could it absorb a little bit of hanger rash, or maybe some rough landings, maybe even a crash? So is the fuselage thick? Are the wings thick? Could they absorb impact? Because if you crash, they're gonna. Are there replaceable parts? Are they available if there are replaceable parts? A lot of companies, and you know who I'm talking about out there, they have parts on back order, so you can't get anything. And E-flite does a pretty good job keeping things in stock, and they have a lot of parts available. The wing is well built. The spar inside the wing is very strong. I'm going to go ahead and give it 7.5 beards for durability. Number 4, can you change or modify the model? That adds to making it more fun to fly. That adds almost like another model to your arsenal if you actually have the ability to change, say, to a tricycle, which this does, or floats. That makes it almost like another plane. Having another plane in your closet by just putting a gear on, yeah, it may take 15 or 20 minutes to do, but it's another plane, and it flies like another plane. Actually, it lands and takes off like another plane. A warbird is a warbird, and you can't change that. It does minimal aerobatics, but you aren't able to change or modify those, so we kind of don't hold that against warbirds around here. So we don't even include them in the rating. The Cessna, however, is going to get an 8.5. So number 5 on the list is scale. If you hear a real prop plane flying around, it's hard to tell which one's which if it's high in the air. The scale is great. The lights add another level. There's landing lights, there's flashing strobes. So we're gonna go ahead on scale and give it 9.5 beards. Number 6 is quality. Horizon's known for their quality, and this model is no exception. They've done a lot of little things to make big differences on the field for you flying, and ease of access and convenience. Actually, even for survivability. They've put little metal prongs that protect the plugs on the end of the wing so that you don't snap one off. That would really end your day, and I'm probably not very easy to replace. So they've got nut keepers on the back of the struts for you to not have to use pliers. They've got access ports on the top. They've got access ports for the battery. They have thumb screws instead of you having to use tools for the wing bolts. They've gone a long way to make your experience better at the field, Tech by Cessna. So they've gone a long way to make your day easier and the likelihood that you're going to break something less. And that to me adds a lot to the quality of the build. Not to mention it goes together seamlessly. We're going to go ahead and give this 9 beards. So number 7 on the list, last but not least, is value. Is what is in this box worth $500? Are there competitors that could be better options? I've looked, there's a 1.7 meter, which is 67 inches. It's $350. It comes without safe. It comes without ASX. It does have Metal Gear servos, which this does, but they are not Spectrum Metal Gear servos. They are not Spectrum internals, i.e. speed controller and receiver and transmitter. And that to me is a deal breaker. As you see in here, that ME262 right there and this P38 right here are neither one a Horizon model, but they have Horizon internals, they have Horizon receivers. I only fly on Spectrum or JR radios because they are trusted, and for the most part the value is great. So we're going to go ahead and give this a 9. One last thing, at almost 7 feet, this thing takes up a lot of room. So make sure you have a lot of landing and takeoff space. Compiling these 7 categories brings us to an 8.6. That's a pretty strong showing for our fresh entry. And I would definitely pay $500 for this model. As a wise pilot once told me, you can only hurt them on the ground, so keep it in the air. If you enjoyed the video, please consider to drop a like and subscribe.